We're up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will. I will be your keeper and host for tonight as we return to Call of Cthulhu, episode 7? 8?
Sure.
I don't really know. One of those
Saint.
episodes. Saint episode. There aren't actually many saints involved this week, unfortunately. But we are back with our regular crew, minus Gareth, because he's at a wedding. Not his own, but he's having a good
Red
time.
wedding.
The red wedding. That's what it's.
Hopefully not the red wedding. We do need Gareth back.
Gareth sends his regards. So let's meet the rest of the players for today. So Lee, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Excellent. I am excellent. Yes. And remind us who you're playing today.
I am playing the ever tormented Cecily Chadwick, the mother of
Dragons.
eldritch weird things. Author, crazy cat lady, basically.
That sums it up pretty well. Cord, how are you?
I'm doing well. Hello, my name is Mathematic. I am playing Angus Column. Pretty much just Sean Connery in Cthulhu Land.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Which would make
Pretty
an
much.
awesome
And
children's book, by the
finally, we have Askren. How's it going, Askren?
way. What's going on? By the way, that would make an awesome children's book. Sean Connery in Cthulhu Land.
See Sean run.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Askren. I am here, excited to play another game of Cthulhu as we see just where all of this madness is going. As always, I will be playing the overly religious pilgrim fanatic named Silas Black, who is he was a former criminal turned man of peace, and he's just kind of trying to keep his sanity. However, for some reason, he's the one who thinks all this is supernatural, the work of God or the devil, and no one believes him, which I don't know why.
You can't quite understand that one. But yeah, let's characters for today. Obviously, I will be your keeper for tonight, leading these these hapless individuals through the depths of Call of Cthulhu. And also, before we begin, thank you to Naisumisu for following. Welcome to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Actually, already on, I think, 9 followers today out of the 20 needed for a viewer decision. What is a viewer decision? Well, excellent question, audience members sitting there nicely. A viewer decision is where you guys get to decide what happens next in our campaign. We do these at 20 followers and 20 retweets. You can find the tweet there in chat. And if you haven't followed, all you have to do is hit that follow button and join us. You can also affect our game with donations, give players the equivalents of Nat 1s, Nat 20s, Wild Magic Surges. And it is Monster Week on Encounter Roleplay this week, which means all the monster stuff is doubled. So if you donate for 10 Gribbly Cthulhu monsters, there are now 20 of them coming out these players. There's a whole lot of things that you can do as usual. Also, we're giving away a copy of the Player's Handbook. Ah, dear.
All right, Sid.
Every day. Yeah, I'm just gonna... God. So, what is it? Yeah, okay, so other than that, though, we need to do a recap of the previous episodes. So, where are we in the story? What's going on? Well, there's been a lot of terrible things which happened to the party. We'll do our best to remember them together. So, there was, that's like the 10th, like, speech, doot, deet, peep, tweet, revoking access.
Tweet this one instead.
So, we'll do a little bit of catch up. So, there was a murderer in London. It's 1921, and there's a serial killer on the loose. The party tracked that serial killer down, short story, and he walked himself into jail. He had a lot of eldritch stuff going on, and when they got to jail, he teleported out along with Cecily Chadwick, Lee's character. They went to all kind of clues led to this temple in Congo in the Africas, and you guys traveled there. Along the way, you had a lot of troubles with your ship, your plane, your Fokker.
It was the Fokker, yeah.
ale at that fucker every time. And you saw like this giant sea creature in the waters as well. So you tracked it down to the temple, and the last episode is where we're at. So let's see if we can remember what happened in a bit more detail last episode. So Cord, you were in the jungles outside the temple, and you saw these people with these kind of tribesmen with guns and spears kind of guarding the area. And so you guys decided that you're going to try and sneak in using a disguise. Do you remember how well that went?
It didn't. It didn't. Saved it. Nailed it. I think my character rolled like a 1 or something really shitty. The equivalent to 1. I rolled real crap, and I was supposed to. I think I was supposed to like sneak by, but I jumped out of a bush to like judo chop this guy and missed. And then I like fumbled out of the way, and then I think
you tried to kind of talk yourself out of the situation. Like you kind of made a lot of noise, and then some people came over because you were dressed as them.
Yeah, I was very, very, very horribly like in horrible taste.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. It's 1921. It's okay.
It was fine then, but now it's like, oh God, Sean, what are you thinking?
Sean, please. So
I'm in disguise.
Snoodles. So yes, you try to talk yourself out of the situation, and obviously you guys don't actually speak their language, and so you came out with a horrible series of clicks and whistles, which on that kind of natural one counted as the most incredibly offensive thing that you could have said, and so you guys got knocked out.
Yeah.
And Lee, you were meanwhile. Cecily was in the temple. Do you remember what was happening there? What's up?
She was being told that she was the mother of the new generation of some kind of the mother of dragons. I wish it was dragons. It would have been so much easier. I would have gone for that. But no, it was her old colleague Horace Quimby.
Yes.
And his little leechy parasite friend on his back or on the back of his head, like Voldemort, basically. I can't remember his name, but
that was an awesome fish. The Harbinger.
Yes.
The Harbinger, yes.
Yeah.
He kept telling
character Will's ever played.
Oh my god! And he didn't even he couldn't even like do the move.
Like this shaky, overexcited fish.
Yeah.
So
Brings me back to my childhood.
Yeah. A shaky, overexcited fish.
Back in the day.
So yes, you spoke to Harbinger, and he kind of revealed their master plan. Do you remember what that was?
That I was going to give birth to some kind of fucking monster.
Yeah.
Basically.
Kind of fucking monster.
Yeah.
all it does is fuck. No, it's yes. You are to be the mother of a new race, which is the fish folk. Of Dagon and humans, a grand new kind of race. You didn't, in fact, kind of give birth to it. They kind of spawned forth after they had a drop of your blood. And these guys on the other side have been kind of knocked out by the tribesmen after their failed attempts to ingratiate themselves with their ways. And literally a fucking monster. That would be me, Mr. Fish. Oh, damn.
Wow.
So you, found yourselves kind of in this chamber. And this dark chamber, there was like a basilisk creature running along the waters of the floor, and this creature, the kind of child, as it were, kind of spawned forth from these two fish heads and came out, this kind of young-looking little thing, kind of half fish, half human, and it immediately began turning everyone else into these creatures as well, the other tribesmen. And so now there's already at least 20 of them, and you guys are still tied up and chained, and then they left, sealing you in, and kind of just left you to rot, and then kind of dispersed into the city to spread the good word and turn everyone else into these weird fish people. Yes, you do, Cracky. Yeah, you will. So fake racism, I'll show myself. I sometimes get a red flicker on Twitch, and all I have to do is refresh, and it looks like, and then I have to refresh, and it's fine. So that might be what you're going through, session. And you guys managed to escape the temple at the very end of the session, and that is basically where we're at with you guys outside the Temple of Ashdod in the Congo, whilst all the cultists are turning one another into these fish people for a new race. You're not really sure why as of yet, but you just know that they definitely need to do it or want to do it. So, yeah, that is currently where we are at. So, any questions? Because we've gone through a fair amount of stuff, and you might need to remember some stuff from last episode that you don't remember. There was also a thing with the door. Gareth's character, with his hand stuck in the door.
Yeah.
And also Rethix has thrown in $5. He says, "Let's start this off with a D10,000."
Nice.
Indeed, I like the sound of that.
Wow,
It's
thank you.
British pounds. Thanks so much, Refix. Who do you want us to go to, my friend? Let us know, and you will. We'll roll that for you to begin the session. It seems like a good point to start it. So you guys actually reunited for the first time that you guys have really seen each other at Cecily for a while, and you've been on the hunt. You guys as well, for some backstory, kind of work for the British Secret Service in the kind of like Cthulhu mythos department that no one really knows exists, and also you've got none of your stuff on you that you kind of started with. So. Yeah, you're looking pretty barren at this point. Gave some kind of feedback, I think, come from Brian's mic, maybe. Like rumblings.
Yeah, I tried. I don't know. Chet, tell me if it's fixed now. But
Okay. So yeah, before we begin this session, let's get some visual descriptions of your characters, what you look like. So let's start with Cecily.
Yay! She is a tall, mousy-haired, scruffy-looking older lady. I would say she was in her late 30s, mid-30s. And she has like back-combed, sort of tendrily bird's nest of a hair, just piled up on top of her head. She wears like this really scruffy-looking blouse now. Her skirt's ripped to shreds.
What are you calling scruffy looking?
Cecily. And she's got these hobnail boots on. They're just absolutely wrecked.
Wrecked.
Hashtag wrecked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And Cord, remind us what you look like.
I look like this guy behind me, but for those of you who are visually impaired, I guess I would say he looks like Sean Connery wearing a suit, and he's always got his eyebrows furrowed because he is always looking for answers.
I'm wondering why you turned around and looked at the green screen for the description, but there's nothing there.
Music magic.
Like, oh, it's as you can see right here.
You can see there's a lot of rain coming in from the eastern Crow's Peak.
This is sexual storm right here.
That way.
From the Thai region, it will be getting a lot of rough winds. Furrow the hair usually.
Coming in over the Connery, little bit.
Coming in over the Connery Channel.
Strong headwind. All right, cool. And finally, Aspen, remind us
Strong
what's
headwinds. Oh, jeez.
Yes, Solace hasn't really changed much in his appearance, considering he has went through a plane crash, multiple days on the ocean, and then trekking through dangerous and deadly jungle, climbing cliffs and stuff, all to reach this cultist ruin town. He still looks like the bedraggled, kind of ruined, dirty clothing, and matted, greasy black hair homeless man that he looked like when he started the campaign. Which is pretty much what it looks like. He's got that kind of long, bedraggled, unwashed hair, a kind of a beard growing, very, very dirty face, because he lives in solitude.
Yeah. Cool. So that's where we begin. You guys are outside the Temple of Ashdod in the blistering heat, whilst the city around you is being kind of enveloped by more and more of these fish-like people. We've got some wild magic surges to start this off. We're going to get to those in but a few moments here, because we're actually going to pick the game up on a slightly different note than immediately after the last session.
Ooh.
So, indeed, we're going to do a time frame freeze.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
This
freeze
is where
frame.
we're starting after we killed everyone in the cult.
Yeah, you're starting after you've won the game.
After we don't
After
have
we
to
beat
get
D&D.
back.
Now, how do
Yeah,
we get home, guys?
We're doing the retirement home session, where you guys are all in the retirement home, and the task is to get some soup. And
Remember that day we went to the conga?
we did the
What?
conga.
We did the
They
conga.
can't do the conga.
Sure, conga.
I could do.
And then we start conga.
A sad
From
insight
the nursing home.
into
From
the
his,
future
like
of
with
Sean
his
Connery.
walker.
Future Sean Connery is present day Sean Connery. Sean Connery back then.
True.
Because
So-
he's immortal.
Indeed. So, yes, a few things happened since the investigators came forth from the Temple of Ashdod all those years ago. And immediately after leaving the temple, you guys were in a pretty bad state, and so you looked to you set about to doing your best that you could to stop the troubles in Ashdod and stop it from spreading. But despite your best efforts, you could not find Reginald and Horace, the Harbinger, and the other cultists. They had disappeared, and the temple had already kind of been infected by the rest of the Dagonids. You did the best that you could to escape being chased by tens and scores of these creatures, barely managing to escape with your lives. And as you got out of there, it was a steady few weeks trek through the jungle until you found some civilization. You found a small town which you managed to blast your passage on a ship out of here, back to the mainland where you could get a plane back home. This is a several month trip journey back in total, spent kind of bartering for provisions where you could, trying to use whatever authority you had as British Embassy kind of folks, but really struggling along the way for the most part. And as you travel back, you got back to, you got about halfway, and that is where things went really wrong for you guys, and indeed for a lot of the planet. It started to experience a lot of flooding, mass flooding of Earth, as you realized. And indeed, several of the British Secret Service members who attempted to contact you and send you information told you that it seems like the race of Dagonids, as they were quickly dubbed, had infected a lot of the African countries and spread throughout very rapidly and very quickly, like a virus or a disease. Quickly, they had spread all the way, and indeed it seemed like a whole migration towards the peaks of the Earth, towards the global peninsulas, northern and southernmost hemispheres, where somehow, no one quite knows how, the ice peaks were beginning to melt at a rapid rate, and this quickly began to flood parts of Earth. You guys were flying over on a Fokker, classic Fock. As you heard news, you got somehow you had a telephone. I don't know.
Sky Telegram.
Yeah, it was pretty great. You got a fax whilst on the Fokker, you then realized that you were in a bit of trouble, and so the world went into a bit of a meltdown or high security. The world centers and the kind of most. What's up, Benny? How's it going, dude? Titanic is Illuminati. Yeah, it's actually Titanic. Funny you should say that, actually. So, yes, the world went into a bit of a meltdown, trying to kind of eradicate as quickly as they could and kind of get to the poles. And you in Poland, basically, just kill all the Polish people. That was the plan. Unfortunately, you got the wrong poles, and you were meant to get rid of the anyway, so you realized that as the Earth was flooding, that there was nothing you could really do to stop the process. With mass floodings came huge tsunamis, which wiped out towns, cities, civilizations, and quickly parts of Earth began to flood. It's now several years later, and almost all of Earth has begun to undergo this process. And it being 1921, there's no real backup plan for going to space. There's no nuclear option either for blowing up everyone who could have been a Dagonid in a certain place. So you're kind of relying on World War I, World War II tactics to do anything, really. What does that mean? And so at this point, you're flying over to England still, because your passage was blocked. As you can imagine, when there's mass panic on Earth. You found it very, very difficult to get anywhere. It kind of went into a bit of a lockdown. If you know airports like I do, then it would have been an absolute nightmare. And so you're actually on your way back to what is left of England, because Eric has sent you a fax to get to England and to
Bloody
a
Eric.
yeah, bloody Eric, right? He's still going.
Bloody Eric, he's still bloody going.
He's still
Yeah.
alive,
How?
although most of yeah, it's a good question. A lot of the world is sunken. A lot of the world leaders are dead, and there's no real order on Earth. It's 2012, come very early, essentially,
But the bureaucracy is still
It's
intact.
12, like 100 years ago.
like 100 years ago. Yeah,
But we still got bureaucracy, though. That-
yeah. Eric still survives.
He's just working at his desk in an abandoned building.
He's just floating in the floodwaters at his desk going, hello!
Hello,
Just
everybody.
working on some files!
Filing papers.
Yeah, okay, I'm
still-
drinking the coffee. So, yes, despite the fact that most of the world has gone to shit, the secret services of the world and the Erics of the world do still exist, and have contacted you because they believe that you guys, and indeed Cecily, probably the only people that could do anything about this problem, with Cecily being dubbed as the kind of mother of this. They have kind of very little.
They're sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
They've
I can tell
run
you
out
some
of options.
so, you hear word from Eric in this fax that there is, in fact, one last bastion for mankind named Aquilian. And you have no idea what it is. You have no idea where it is, but he's told you to meet him on one of these last kind of submerged, almost submerged islands along the British coast. And that's where your fucker is flying to today. And as you kind of fly in, you know, at this point, everything is sea around you. There's no land. There's occasional rocky outcropping, but nothing for kind of humanity to really survive on. You see this little kind of rocky outcropping, really small island, nothing more than something that a few people could really live off of. As the pilot, who is Garrett's character, George, kind of lands you in a very kind of indeed.
Drive it.
He drives the plane very well, and manages to get you actually landed onto this little rocky outcropping in the middle of nowhere, really, what used to be England. There's a man there as you kind of step out off the plane, and Eric's wearing this like incredibly bedraggled suit, which he's always been wearing ever since episode 1 of season 1. Eric's been wearing this suit, and Eric is like this guy in his 40s to 50s with dark slick back hair, but his hair isn't slicked back anymore because he doesn't have any products, so he just has it kind of flopping around, and he looks like he's about 20 years older. He meets you guys as you step off. This is 1923. 2 days after 2 years after the end of the world as we once knew it. So who steps off first?
Not Cecily. She's going to be stamping off last, I think.
Eric.
Eric kind of looks at you. It's good to see you again.
Likewise.
How is it? How's it going?
As well as it can be. How are you?
I've seen better times, but we make do.
Ah,
Is Cecily there? You did bring Cecily, right?
yes, she's on her way.
Have you?
Is Wallace next to me, or is just me at the moment?
No,
yeah,
I mean
she's
Silas.
getting out of the plane eventually.
Silas
She's
is
just-
nearby. He's I'm just gonna say, for the sake of his character, he's probably been in. He's pretty positive that this is like Revelations. right now.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I mean, if
we
you're a
will-
man of God, this is the end. This is the flood come again.
Yeah, like he will probably insist almost every time any chance he gets that the riders will be coming soon. The dead will rise, that kind of thing.
Oh God.
Nice. And it's Silas. Cecily, are you aboard?
Yes,
So
I'm on my way.
he shakes your, well, kind of helps you down, and he says, "How are you?"
Wow. Not much to really say about that, is there?
Right. I keep saying it, even though I know the answer is Bob Hand 567. Welcome, Bob Hand, to the adventure. Oh, gentleman and the scholar.
I wish I could machine, please.
Have
Yes,
we
that's Bob.
have we
Bob.
really entered Bob Hand protocol?
That's Bob, though.
Is it really that bad? It's just Con Bob. So he says, I'm sure you've all lost people in the past few years. I'm glad you finally made it back. It couldn't have been an easy journey. I'm sure you're aware that much has changed. I'm sure you're surprised that, well, I'm still here, or that any of us or our former systems are still in place. Well, you'll be glad to hear that the Great Britain still exists.
Still great.
Well, it's not quite as great as it once was, but
God save the Queen.
we're alas.
That made my
It's
chest swell a little bit.
He says, alas, God did not save our queen.
Yes. Well, who's the Queen then now?
It's complicated. Listen. The royal line, of course, must be kept.
There must always be a Queen on the
There
Iron
must
Throne.
always be a queen. It's Bob. It's Bob.
It's Bob Hand, Queen Bob.
Bob Hand.
Long live the Bob.
He says, no.
Bob, head of the Queen.
Well played. And he says, now listen, royal succession aside, of more importance is Quillian and the survival of mankind. You see, there is a backup plan in place where only the highest up members of society and countries, world leaders, the richest individuals ever had access to 2 years ago. I've been down there into the depths of Aquilian, where what remains of mankind exists. There's a submarine ready to take us down.
And what awaits us down there? Aside from folks who have no real power to save anything.
He says, well, survival is the only real hope for us now. We don't have dreams of destroying the Dagonids or rising up again as such. There are a few who dream of such things, but for us, really, we just want to survive. And, well, also there are those down there who wish to know more about you, and Cecily in particular. Now, I will warn you, there are people down there who blame you.
As is understood. I understand.
They've dubbed themselves the UPH, the United Powers of Humanity.
Youth.
The youth.
The youth of today. Eh? And
They
And also the euthanasia.
Euthanasia. Oof.
and he says they have the most control upon Aquilian. Whilst the individual countries remain independent to some degree, the UPH has control over the rest of Aquilian and military control as well.
how can they say such things? They know nothing. They were not there.
Well, exactly. Part of their fear is of the unknown. They don't know if Miss Chadwick was working with them, or if you are indeed cultists, or you know what people are like, Silas. They need someone to blame. And it's easier to blame someone like yourself than, well, themselves. These people have lost everything. The world as they know it has been turned on its head. And there are the Ichthyosapiens as well. This is
The fish people.
quite something of an experiment which happened a few years ago. You see, the Dagonids, as I'm sure you know, have these anglerfish bulbs on the front of them. They hunt through the depths of the waters, even to Aquilion, where they can find us. And, well, the UPH decided it was a good idea that we had our own fighters and warriors in this battle. And indeed, workers. The Ichthyosapiens, or just gill people, as some people name them, are humans.
Gillies.
Gilly.
But they have gills, quite simply. And they are kept on a strict diet of drugs to keep them under control. There are some who are not such fans of the Ichthyosapiens, myself included. I think they're quite dangerous, in fact, but all in all, there's only, well, 10,000 or so of them, and maybe 500,000 is the estimated head count of Aquilion. So, there's that. I'm
And
sure you... Yes.
what is your plan for survival in this capsule underground? Food, water?
He says we can filtrate water through, so we have a steady supply of that, and the Ichthyosapiens are experts at swimming around, fixing up any holes in the works, and hunting for us as well. Fishing is our main source of food. And, well, there are some scientists far cleverer than I who keep the lights on in Aquilion.
Sounds like a death trap to me.
Well, perhaps it is, but there's nowhere else to live. You'll be hunted out here.
I cannot help but feel that this is quite impractical. We've just come back off a plane, and now we're submerging ourselves into the deepest, darkest depths of this ocean.
Where else is there to go?
Do you have a doctor on hand?
A doctor on hand? Yes, we do. Board a sub and many below. Experts in their fields.
How long will it take us to descend?
He says, perhaps a day.
Okay, very well. It gives us a day to think about what we're doing. I agree there's nowhere else for us to go, but we should take every precaution.
I agree.
So a recap. This Quillian is a city, a town, a research
I
center?
mean, you haven't asked, yeah.
Okay.
It
Okay,
seems to
alright,
be.
it's been referring
They
to
seem
it,
to be
okay.
describing some kind of, essentially a large bomb shelter or bomb shelter
Cool.
network under the water.
And that is a place,
Yeah.
not a people.
Seems like a location,
Yeah.
What is this Quillian you speak of?
He just explained it.
I'm saying it in character,
He just explained it.
not in character.
He says,
OOC.
indeed, it is a underwater city, metropolis of sorts, where we've managed to survive for the past 2 years. Longer than anyone else has. Of course, there are rumors of a few military vessels who still sail. But we have been unable to locate them, if they do exist.
I'm quite interested
Now
to
I can't
know.
meta.
I'm quite interested to know who built this city and when.
We built this city.
He says, well, I'm afraid that's classified information.
Well then, unclassify it.
That is.
What do you expect me to do here? Listen, Stylus, I'll be honest with you. You are not needed. The only person who has actually requested is Miss Chadwick. I'm doing you all a favor here.
Well, all right.
Oh shit.
All you.
That was an angry mess.
So, he, he says, any more questions?
Yes. How necessary to the operation of this place are you?
He says, to the British Secret Service, I am of utmost importance, but to the UPH, I imagine I am just another agent.
Noted. Very well, let's decide.
Come now, Silas. Do not make this harder than it should be.
And he says the sub should be here in a few moments. And you wait a few minutes. Submarine kind of pops up. 1921 kind of tub of metal, basically, or 23 in fact, I guess. But they haven't been developing any kind of submarines in the past few years. So it really is just like a tub of metal which can submerge itself to fairly deep pressures.
With one window.
With one window, yeah. I mean, they had subs apparently we did some research on this. They had subs as early as like 1910.
Yeah, they were a giant wrecking ball, a hollowed out wrecking ball with a tube that reached
and
the
in
surface.
the 1860s and stuff like that. Apparently, they had some crazy
They've
stuff.
have one
diving
at Coney
bells, I
Island.
think.
They have they have like the actual one still at Coney Island, which is crazy.
That's
It's
awesome.
Giant. It's just a giant ball with like tubes and like a plug for
sweet.
a light. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's cool. The submarine kind of like pops up, and there's a kind of hatch which is opened at the top for you guys to enter into, and Eric kind of makes the jump over, and kind of some hands help him come down. Basically, is what you really see. You guys are allowed to get on as well if you so desire.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Cool.
So
Yeah.
you-
Yeah.
Oh, and thank you to Ginyu, who donates £5 and says, make a player roll a D10,000. The lovely Lee, who stills my heart upon seeing her aura.
Oh,
Ah, you cutie.
what
Ginyu.
color is the aura, Ginyu? Are we?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we've actually got a bunch of rolls to do, so I figured we could do them as soon as we got into the submarines. Actually, Cord has to do one, I believe Lee has to do one, and Refik's donated for whoever wants to do one, so I guess Askren you can do one as well.
Okay.
They've each got a D10,000 to do. This is the wild magic table, folks.
Oh, the 150 earlier, by the way.
Do you want us to do those now?
Yeah, if you can roll them now, we'll look them up over a few moments.
Cool.
So yeah, you enter into the sub where a bunch of British mariners, I suppose, are there are 5 guys manning this little sub, and you guys in here. It's very cramped, however, very, very claustrophobic within these halls, and they're all wearing kind of like slightly outdated, well, I guess fairly today, but fairly bedraggled looking uniforms, and they do carry guns as well, and they kind of let you down, and Eric kind of finds a little seat and offers you a seat next to him as well aboard this sub, as the kind of, well, the kind of commander, or whatever the appropriate term would be, starts to kind of issue orders to his men as you become to be submerged in the waters. Very quickly, it's all just very dark around you. You've only really one light in the center, which is illuminating the sub. So Eric says, so, what's the latest news? We were barely able to keep in touch with you.
Do they know what happened in the Congo?
I mean, you probably
Maybe.
sent what information you could, but I mean, he's got a sketchy idea of what happened, but he probably doesn't really quite know. And I mean, feel free to make up like world events that would happen in an apocalypse like this that you might have been involved in. So oh, we saw the tsunami over Japan for some reason, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess we could just regale them with tales of how we survived up to now.
I'd be interested to know.
Egypt is blooming right now. It's lush. Back at it again.
That Nile.
That Nile. I tell you.
It's endlessly flowing.
On the up and up.
Well, that's encouraging.
That's nice, John.
I guess we'd all be kind of quiet, because how do you even catch someone up on what's
Yeah.
taking place? Like, oh yeah, so I gave birth to a race of fish people.
Right.
And
Cecily did
infected you guys.
Why don't you ask Cecily what happened?
How about you don't ask Cecily?
How's your kids? Oh, I guess we'll find out.
Has that cult paid any child support?
Yeah, right.
I
Daddy
need no eldritch baby daddy.
I'm an independent woman who don't need no cult.
He says to you, Cecily, do tell me how this all came to pass. Your information was very sketchy at best.
What would you like to know in particular? It's difficult for me to know where to begin.
Well, you disappeared to the Congo, and we heard that they were obviously on the trail and reached you, but what happened there?
Well, while I was there, you might have already kind of come to the conclusion. The reason they're requesting me, the fish people, is because apparently I'm their mother. There's no other way to put it except say I was transported by a man who kept calling me mother as well. He has the same surname as I do. And on meeting him, he suddenly we were in the Congo. I cannot explain it. As some kind of ritual that happened. But on getting there, they fed me, they clothed me. I had this bizarre cloak made of calamari or something. It was endless tentacles, and it writhed when I had it on. And it
Calamari.
I see.
It was like some kind of offering. And then, do you remember Horace? Horace Quimby.
Yes. I of course. The Dark Mirror incident.
He was there. Horace Quimby was at the temple.
No, what do you mean?
Horace Quimby was at the temple. He was the leader of this bizarre little cult. He had this little leech insect feeding from his brain, and he called it the Harbinger. And it kept telling me that I was the mother. And Harold kept using that calm demeanor to convince me. He's alive, but they're not himself.
But how?
I cannot explain.
I see. And you were unable to stop him? And he looks at the rest of you.
No,
We tried our best, but we were
but 3 men against an army.
we were in fact, well, trapped and kept away for quite some time.
I see.
I can see your face now, Will.
What do you mean?
Oh my god.
It's so bright. Holy shit.
This is what it's like here. Every day.
I feel for you, bro. Come back to rainy England. It's not even rainy, it's like 31 degrees here or something.
He's so pale, it's like reflective.
He has become one with the
I'm
sun.
getting a tan from your reflection. Keep it up because I need it.
So, yeah, it's really funny. So he says, I see, well, yes, it seems like the worst happened and we all failed in our task. Well, if you think of anything else, then it might be useful. Any weaknesses that they have or things that keep them away. anything like that, really. But if it were just the creatures, we would have stood a chance. But the mass floodings caused chaos, and we couldn't really do anything.
Just out of character, we're pretty well aware that the cult is also vampires, right?
Right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah. Say, weakness? How much wood do you have lying around?
What do you mean?
Doesn't matter.
I mean, not much, but
We're in the sub right now. This is a conversation happening.
yeah, in the submarine. Yeah.
I'm trying to like look around for a tree. I don't.
In the submarine, yeah. Are we descending or are we just in there?
Currently descending slowly.
Okay.
I have an initial bit.
No, they are. As far as we can tell, they are some sort of abomination spawn, birthed from the pits of hell. They can enslave and force others to follow their will. Who knows what else?
I see. Then do you have no effective strategies for stopping them in mind? There is no plan.
Maybe individually, but where is the heart of whatever this problem is? Where could we possibly strike at?
We are as clueless as you.
I guess we'll have to play it by ear. Unless we want to go back and refreeze all the poles, but I don't think we can do that.
Oh, trust me, there's been attempts, but we have nowhere near the. The scientists have no idea how that would even work. If
Has Freon even been invented yet? Or refrigerators?
21.
I believe so.
I think the 20s in America was a big boom for like fridges and cars and shit like that. So I think the 20s would.
It could be 50s. I did
Could've
play
been 50s,
Timeline. I did play Timeline the other day, and it was on there. I just don't remember where.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure the 50s was microwaves.
Maybe that is the case, yeah. And thank you to Frequent for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. What's up, Gutsper? The sub continues to descend, and Eric goes over some thoughts and plans and kind of catches you up on some of the kind of local news down in Aquilian.
1934. That's crazy.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you to the Pant Weaver for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I guess if you're American, that's fine. If you're English, that's like thanks. As I had a thing with ice out. That is true. Make a good point there. So you begin to descend down. Eric catches you up on some of the local news. Aquilian tells you more about these ichthyosapiens, or gill people, or equations, as some people call them as well. And the descent continues. I mean, you've got a day in a submarine. What do you guys get up to?
Boy, what is there to do in a submarine?
Submarine, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what I would do on a long ass flight. Read. Probably not think of the small enclosed space.
All the pressure that surrounds you.
Try not to let it sink in. Don't let it sink in.
Don't let it sink in. The
And
existential dread.
One of the Marines turns to Cole, what's your character's name again?
Angus.
Angus. Yeah, I just think Sean Connery.
Sean.
So the beacons are like Gondor calls around. Soldier kind of turns to you and says, "Is it true? Were you there?"
There for one.
When it happened.
Were we there when it did happen? We were there like a second later, though.
Like a second later, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was around, but I don't think I was there for what is assumed to be ritual.
I see. Was there... I mean, did you try and stop it?
Tried our best.
Why were you late? What held you up?
Well, an army of people versus 3 of us. It's hard. They all had guns. We had to figure out and devise a plan in there. We didn't know when it was happening.
He says, well, you came out alive. How come no one was shot? If there were so many guns.
I don't know. They must have needed us for something. They must have not needed us either. That's a hard thing. Why are we alive? If we were in fact a threat, we would have been handled, but we were not. And they knew that.
You could have done something there. You could have tried to stop it.
We tried.
One of the other soldiers says, "Come here," and he kind of like gets his shoulder and is like, "Stop it, James." And he says, "Sorry, we've all lost people."
Yes, I understand. But we did try. We tried to stop, but there was some creature born from the depths that was in our way. Something so horrid. Something so, well, imaginable, unimaginable. Something that would freeze mortality in its tracks, and it did. And that is why we were late. And that is why we could not do what we needed to be done. I bet if you were put in that situation, you would not have done the same. You would have frozen, perhaps even more.
As I kind of question his own bravery.
Oh, sick!
Yeah, he like
Sick burn, yo.
backs down again, kind of. And the other soldiers, sorry.
It's all right.
What about Cecily? What does she get up to?
She's basically staring at the wall and then scribbling in a journal. And I assume she's sort of made a kind of journal out of scraps of bits of whatever she's found on their journey. So I'm pretty sure that wherever they've gone, there ain't no notebooks. So she's like got rags and bits of vellum that they've dried out of bits of animal,
yeah.
you know, just scribbling with a bit of graphite.
Nice.
Trying not to engage who surrounds her.
What about Silas?
Salad?
Was that intentional or was that just...
I don't know what he's actually called. So. No one knows what he's actually called.
Silas, Solus, Solace, Salad.
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 Okay, so
Slad.
I'm assuming that somewhere in the jungle he probably lost most of his book, but he'll probably he like I said, he's insistent that he's drawing all the parallels between this and like the events of Revelation and stuff, the end of the world. So I assume he's probably on the sub either with like a piece of chalk, or if he doesn't have one, maybe even his knife, just kind of scratching it into the walls. He's writing out verses and things from memory from his book, both biblical and apocryphal, and also he's writing alongside them a lot of the symbols and the occultic writing that he saw in that he's been researching and that he saw at the temples and stuff, because he's trying to find a pattern in all of it.
Cool. One of the other guys on the ship will say the captain. He says, "Oi, what are you doing there? Looks like some heebie-jeebie stuff." Not a lot on here.
I'm trying to find an answer. What are you doing?
He says, I'm just making sure there's nothing untoward going on his ship.
When was the last time you were outside, friend? When was the last time you were embraced by the warmth of God?
There ain't no God. Or if there was one, he's abandoned us long ago.
He kind of just finishes like with his chalk. He like just draws the last line of this kind of occult symbol, and he says, "I think God and all his angels have been asleep. When he was wakened, he saw what we had done to this world. And none of this is right. It could only be the wrath of him. It is all as he ordains it. It can only be as God ordains it."
Right, one of those. I say, well, keep that to yourself. Freak people out.
Perhaps you should be freaked out. Perhaps you should spend more time thinking about where you went wrong.
Says, whilst you're aboard this ship, you'll follow my orders. Now, keep that to yourself. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Shut the fuck up. And he starts working on some ship-based thing.
Is Cecily sat near this?
Shipometer. Yes, she is.
She's just gonna look up from her notebook and say, "Excuse me.
What?
How dare you speak to my friend in that manner?
Apologies, Mr. Cadwick.
Why don't you keep your thoughts to yourself as well, sir? If you expect people to behave in that manner, then so should you."
He says, I'm not sure if you're quite aware of this, but things are a little bit different around here. We have to run a tight ship.
Oh, I'm very aware. But you see, my friend has also been through some terrible, terrible things, and maybe this is his way of coping, just as you are fixing that shipometer. Please have a little more consideration for your passengers.
He curtly nods and continues to work on the shipometer. Very important shipometer, actually.
Silas will kind of he'll just kind of ignoring the guy and the conversation behind him. He just continues writing, and then he's going to say, "Cecily, I need. There are pieces of this puzzle that I do not know. I think all of them revolve around you."
If this has anything to do with me being the mother of whoever the hell this is, then I don't wish to know this right now. I'm on a submarine. I'm trying to concentrate. Is there anything I can... Stop with your fucking jigsaw. How can I help you, Silas?
There is a prophecy. There is writing about the son of Satan, about Mammon making his way into this world. But the prophecy said it required the blood of the lamb. I don't know why you are needed, but I think there are answers in your past, in your ancestry, things we don't know.
Of the lamb?
It means the Lamb of God.
Okay. I don't really know anything that can help you at the moment, but I'm sure when we get to Aquilian, there may be resources we can use.
He kind of points to a section of the wall where there's a lot of kind of occult symbols, and he's kind of drawn like connections and stuff between the various chapters and verses and thing, like revelations, bits of information. But he points to one section that is actually particularly empty, and he says, "I cannot figure out what goes here, but I believe it is you."
This does not seem logical to me at the moment.
There is logic in it somewhere. It just requires a mind more expansive than ours.
You can't possibly be meaning the thing from before, surely.
Someone somewhere knows this information.
We will find them. We'll find this information. We have to, there's no other way around it.
And he'll just he'll just kind of like sit on the ground, just sort of looking up at all this kind of writing, just kind of staring at it.
Cecil sit next to him and just carry on scribbling, just keeping an eye on that ship hand.
Alright, so before you guys get to Aquilian the rest of the day, I'm ready to focus on the hour. If you're new to Encounter Roleplay, hit that follow button and join us. If you're new at 20 followers, you guys will decide what happens next in our story, so be sure to hit that button if you haven't already. For 5 days a week, 10 shows every week of D&D, RPGs, Call of Cthulhu, and stuff like that. Later on, we're playing a game in 2 hours called I Love the Core, which is a sci-fi game. It's pretty fun, kind of inspired by Alien. And it's also a local game, because the credit is from Birmingham, where I live in the UK, so support in the games. It's a lot of
So
fun.
that local, not actually local where you are.
Not where I am right now, but where I usually live. And also there is the tweets. You can find there 20 retweets. You guys will decide what happens next. Cool. So the sub takes you further down. The sub-nuclear sandwich. The sub takes you further down into the depths of the ocean, and it's the rest of the day you spend kind of eating a few rations and doing whatever, trying to figure out this puzzle which Silas is trying to put together. You soon come towards the end of the day to what you believe to be Aquilian, and there is one kind of front window that you can look out of, and you guys kind of press to the front as you want to see the city. It's illuminated by the big headlamps of the submarine, and you see before you these large domes built out of what is potentially iron, kind of corrugated iron, and all sorts of materials, which it's very dark and gloomy down here in the depths of the water. Most of them are domed to kind of withstand the pressure of deep seas, and there are these gas lamps which illuminate the waters all around. It's pretty expansive. So if you think of like the size of a big city, not as like huge as maybe London or New York, but like a substantial city which could hold 500,000 people in separate kind of dome buildings which seem to connect to one another. So it does illuminate the seabed down here. It's almost beautiful.
Like where the Gungans live.
Yeah, like the way the Gungans live in a way, but not as kind of like beautiful and pretty. It's just kind of like more steampunky, kind of pumping out gaslights, pollution into the waters. And you do see a lot of sea life down here, fishes swimming by and stuff like that around. And you see what must be these ichthyosapien kind of gill people who are swimming around, fixing up bits of Aquilian, bits of these domes, and generally kind of one actually swims nearby and kind of looks past you. Looks like a normal guy, but he has gills on the side.
And the anglerfish thing?
He doesn't have the anglerfish thing, no. He's a human in anatomy other than the gills. Only the Dagonids seem to have the anglerfish thing going for them. You come from. There's kind of a mix of architecture. We can probably suggest that a bunch of different people ended up designing this. But think kind of 20s steampunk design, and you're pretty much there. We place it underwater, and you're in all the way there. And the submarine comes in. You get quite a good look around into Aquilian until you come to one of these dome buildings, and the sub just kind of slowly slows its descent and begins the kind of procedures to kind of dock. And there's a huge kind of like underwater kind of muted grating sound as the gates to one of these domes rises up, and you see that there's a kind of docking bay inside which the submarine goes into, and then it kind of decompressurizes. I don't know what it is. And the kind of water floods back out, and the submarine captain undoes the top and kind of lets you guys out into Aquilian. So yeah, and Eric says, "Well, ladies first."
I get out first.
Of course you.
Yes.
You see, you see that you're in a kind of military base, basically, for submarines where they're all kind of docked. At this point, looks like a way for them to kind of go out into the waters. There's probably like 10 military submarines here, and a bunch of military as well who are wearing this kind of black uniforms, not indicative of any country, and they're clearly not English or British. And as you kind of head out and the soldiers help you down onto the ground, Eric says, kind of stretching out for the first time, "This is Aquilian. Welcome. It's very cold and kind of dark, a little bit damp around here as well, and it looks like several corridors run off all around the place. And you know that you're in a giant dome, so there must be lots of other kind of rooms and adjacent buildings and corridors around here." And he says, "Looks like we might have some problems," as he looks towards the kind of soldiers in this kind of black uniform, and they have badges just read UPH on them.
Oh.
"That is UPH. Looks like they'll want to speak with us," and he starts heading towards them. "Come on."
What does UPH stand for again?
United Powers of Humanity.
Got it.
Yeah. There we go. It's a nice little book. So, you go towards this kind of group of 20 or so soldiers, and there's this man there who is probably Irish of descent, and he says to Eric, he says, "Agent Eric, we're going to need to speak with Miss Chadwick and the others." And Eric says, "They're under my control now, Eric." And the man identified as Derek says, "I'm afraid that's not the case anymore."
Eric and Derek.
Eric and Derek, the twins. Derek is his evil cousin. And he says, "I'm afraid that's not the case anymore. They're under UPH command, so if you don't mind, Eric, please step aside." And Eric kind of turns to you apologetically as, he like clearly looks towards the kind of guns of the UPH soldiers and says, "I'm afraid I don't think there's much I can do about this. I'll try and get to you as soon as possible and get to the British Embassy."
Very well.
Whatever you do, try and be honest with them.
Are these just soldiers, or does it look like they might be able, like they're kind of have some rank to them?
These guys probably look like grunts,
Okay.
and then Derek is their kind of captain or leader.
I will walk up to Derek and I'll say, "Are you the one in charge?"
Derek says, "Well, right now, yeah. And you must be Solace, whatever your name is, the Bible basher. Listen, friend, I know that you're onto something, okay? I appreciate it. This is the end times. You and I, brother. We're some of the only few who actually understand what's going on here. But I gotta take you. I got orders. So don't get me,
He'll kind of shoot a glance towards Eric, kind of with a little kind of furrowed eyebrow. He says, Can't be better than where we've been. Or can't be worse than where we've been.
He nods and says, all right then. And, Mr. Callum, will you be coming peacefully?
And may what?
Well,
Just
Cecily
say yes.
But will you be coming peacefully? Oh yeah, and thank you to Ernie Dell, who donates £3 and says, the children thank the beloved mother for her gift of a perfect world and existence with a purpose. May Cecily use his Nat 20 to lead the people to the sweet embrace of our Lord Dagon. Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Cecily denies.
That's 20, and this is actually awful.
Right?
The equivalent of
Thank
an
you very much.
So he says, Mr. Callum, you're coming peacefully?
Yes. Yes,
Man.
we will.
Miss Chadwick.
Do I have a choice?
I should.
I said, come on.
He hesitated.
I've been waiting 8 episodes for that.
He says,
I was the killer all along!
Please kill me.
I run into the Dome City.
Take all my clothes off and run. She nods. She goes, I suppose.
he says, excellent. I mean, you do have a choice, but, you know, it would just be easier. So, thanks. And Eric says, I'll be in touch as soon as I can. And as you guys are kind of taken away by the soldiers, UPH men, towards one of the corridors, and as they take you away, Eric kind of fades into the distance, and you're led down these dark corridors. Very kind of, it's like being on a submarine still. It's very claustrophobic and dark, and everything resonates. Everything's metal around here, and you're led down for maybe 5 minutes until Derek stops in front of the door, and he says, "Well, this is where I leave you. Talk to you soon." And
Before you leave, who are we standing before once we're inside?
everyone calls her Zena. I think her actual name is Stepankova Zneda, something like that. Russian lass, but higher up in UPH. She'll be asking you a few questions. If you'd each step into one of these rooms, and there are kind of doors, the soldiers open doors, one to each individual room. Kind of a fairly well lit room with a table inside and a chair.
How long do you need us in here? Will we be
Jesus.
summoned?
As long as it takes, I'm sure she'll be with me shortly.
Very well.
Cecily grabs a bundle of whatever the hell she's been drawing on and just like walks straight into a room and shuts the door. She
Cool.
peers out of the little window and watches Angus and Solace go into their own room.
Okay.
Yeah, Solace will go into the room with the table and chair and just immediately proceed to continue his writing on the walls.
Angus goes in.
Yep.
So, there's maybe a kind of 5-minute wait whilst you guys are just kind of alone in these rooms, and the doors are sealed and locked behind you. We're going to go first with Cecily. So Cecily, you're in a chamber for about 5 minutes, like I say, when a tall brunette lady walks in the room wearing a military outfit. She also has a gun on her hip. Yeah, and she has a cap as well. She takes it off. She walks into the room into this kind of little chamber, and she says, "Miss Chadwick."
Cecily stands up and nods. Yes.
And she says, "My name is Stepankova Zneda. You can call me Zina. I'm in charge of the investigation."
Hello, Zena.
Miss Chadwick, can you please tell me everything you know? about the so-called Dagonite creatures and the events which led up to their creation.
She sighs. She says, "There's a lot for me to tell you.
I have time.
Are you sure you can do it standing up? Would you like to take a seat?"
I'm fine here, thank you.
Very well. Where do you want me to begin?
At the start. And then I guess maybe it takes like an hour or two to tell the story in full.
Yeah.
Do you leave anything out?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to accidentally, on purpose, forget to mention Horace. Or that it is Horace.
But go into great detail about the birth scene. Because she'll want that information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she does specifically want information on that, like how it
even...
came to pass, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell her.
She listens quietly, she nods at the right moments, she hums as well.
Active listening.
Good, I was worried.
Good skill.
She takes notes on a notepad, and then
I'm going to tell her about Horace, but not mentioning that I already knew
He's
him.
got a weird fish creature on his head.
Yeah, by the way, you're that Horace guy I told you about. Scared of a fish.
There you go. Bit of a slippery one.
So she takes these notes and she says, "Thank you for your cooperation, Miss Chadwick. Now, I'm going to need to make sure that you're telling me everything. So I apologize for this next part." And she leaves the room. The lights go out, and the water starts to fill with dark, cold water.
The room does.
The room does, yes. Or does it? Yeah.
Ruins her desk. That's awful.
Cecily stands there with her eyes closed.
Yeah, it begins to rise up around you pretty swiftly. And you're just kind of alone in this dark chamber as the light's gone out and the water's rising up around you, and you feel that there are these eels in the water going around you, kind of swimming around your legs, your feet, and then all around your body as you're kind of gasping for air. Kind of the water kind of brings you up because you're quite buoyant, I suppose, and it kind of reaches a point where the wall, like the ceiling is here, the water level is here, and you're just trying to gasp. Going around you, and that's when you start to feel the kind of shocks in the water as your body is kind of racked with electricity.
Electric eels.
Trying to kind of gasp for air, and this lasts. You don't even know how long this lasts really, because your brain kind of shuts down, and at the moment you kind of pass out, you wake up a few moments later, and they've managed to. The water is gone. The eels appear to be gone, and you're just kind of wet, covered in maybe there's a loose eel or something in hair on the chamber, and then Xena walks back in the room. So, did you remember anything else whilst you were in there? Can you roll me a sanity check?
Yes, I can.
Because this isn't good for your health.
No. Love a good eeling.
Good healing.
I failed.
Whatever your sanity score was before, reduce it by the amount by which you failed.
13, okay. Where's it gone? There you go.
No, 23. I'm sorry. Math.
Ooh.
Correct. Remember when I hate cold water and electric eels?
There you go. Okay.
That's useful information for her.
Yeah, she says, I remember that I know the man
Which man?
with the leech. His name is Horace
Who is
Quimby. I used to work with him. He's an old work associate of mine.
An old work associate of yours just so happens to be the man behind all of this.
Not necessarily behind all of this. He seemed to be some kind of leader, but I don't know whether he was the source. I cannot explain why he was there. No matter how many electric eels you give me, I cannot tell you how we got there.
Okay. Well, that's a theory I'm willing to put to the test.
Go for it.
She leaves the room. Same process begins again. The water rises, the eels come in the room. Over the next few minutes, you're drowning. I feel like you are, and you really are drowning. The eels begin to shock you. You pass out. You're on the floor. From your sanity check. It ain't good stuff. And now your new sanity score is 23 points lower, so you fail again, and you're getting close to just going entirely insane.
Okay, so do I?
You can use that 20 if you want to.
I forgot I had that. How did I forget? I'm using my nat 20.
So, good idea. You see yourself. Yeah, I mean, you manage to hold on to whatever kind of sanity you have remaining whilst this happens. It doesn't break you. She comes back in again and says, anything else, Mr. Chadwick?
No, I've told you everything I know.
Very well. And she leaves the room. The same process is gone through with Mr. Callum, Mr. Silas. And you guys don't really have any more information than Cecily does. So we'll assume, unless you want to lie to her about anything, Angus.
Do I know about Horace?
You don't know who he is, no.
Yeah, no, I know of his file, but I don't know of seeing him there. I don't think I did. Because
I'm sure I told you
paradox.
while you were.
You probably would. She probably would have told you after.
Yeah.
Or at least that I knew him.
I tell
Yeah.
them what I know and what Cecily has told me, but other than like hard facts of me being there, meh.
All right. So, one sanity check for Callum, Frank's Callum. So, and we'll see how he does, because they will eel you nonetheless. You know what?
I fail by 7.
Okay. So, do you go a little bit
That's not
mad
7.
in there, but
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. And what about Silas?
it's 8. Oh man, I suck at math.
He has nothing to lie about. He will, like, as soon as she walks in, he's just going to insist that this is the end times, and that this has all been prophesized before.
Okay. She she accepts that and gives you a good ealing to see if it changes your that's
Why would it change my opinion on that? Oh, you got the right. You're right. I was wrong about the prophecy thing. The eels reminded me.
Crazy Russian lady, you're wrong.
I just needed those eels.
She can roll me a
Yeah.
You lie on purpose just for the eels.
just to get the eels.
Yeah.
I just want to make friends with them. What can I roll for that?
Eel handling.
Eel handling, yeah.
Eel fondling.
Ooh,
That's,
more like.
Eel feelings.
I just missed by 1 point.
Alright, so you go a tiny bit insane. You lose 1 depth of sanity. It's like your mental fortitude breaks at the last moment.
Yeah, I'm just like, as she's kind of, the eels are rubbing against me, I'm just like floating there, just like. That's it. Just he's just like kind of taking
He's
the.
well into that.
Yeah.
Likes a bit of feelings.
Yeah. And
Feelings.
and after like the several ealing douses for each of you, the door slams open first to Cecily's, and Eric is there. Come on, let's get you out of here.
Eric's there, is he?
Eric is here, yeah.
Before.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then he comes to Angus's door, opens up, get out. Comes to Silas, says, "You're free. Time to go.
Where are we going?
With me, come on."
Really, I was
Have a towel first.
planning on asking that Russian woman some questions about what she knew.
I can promise you she would not have answered them. Now,
There is no time. We've got to go.
We really must. And behind him, there's like a squad of the Ichthyo-sapien people. You can see that all of these men have gills. There are like 20 of them, and they're armed as well.
Squad goes.
Squad girls, right?
Squad girls, did you say?
Squad gills.
Squad girls.
And you see that they're kind of with Eric in a sense, and Eric says, "We're going back to our headquarters." And he said, "These fine gentlemen helped me get you out of here, Nalan," and starts marching you guys off. They kind of coddle you in towels, and they thank Hot Russian Chick for following. Welcome, Hot Russian Chick, to the adventure, your gentle lady and scholar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Welcome, Comrade General.
Hello.
Привет.
So, Eric starts marching you down, and he says, "What went on in there?"
Cecily's going to show him her arms, where I imagine there's going to be like sort of obviously burn marks or something where the eels have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to.
Yeah.
She used the eels.
He sighs. "I'm sorry. I tried to get here as quickly as I could. The embassy were very slow, and then these fine gentlemen here helped me."
Eric, she knows everything.
Everything?
She knows everything.
Okay, right. They're heading down a corridor for another like 20 minutes in relative silence from Eric. He looks pretty like fucking stressed out, this guy.
I want to ask something to say. Friend, you knew they were taking us. You knew there would be questions. Most likely force. What exactly comes of them knowing what happened in the jungle?
I'm not quite sure yet. That's the fear. I'm not quite sure.
What could they do with that information?
I've no idea. But they have a dogged interest to know. And I'm not entirely sure that there aren't... We should talk in private.
Agreed.
Like, the Ichthyo-sapien people are around you. And then you kind of come to like a big blast sealed door with like the United Kingdom's flag rising high above it, and the British.
Land of hope and glory.
And
What was that heresy?
It was Cecily crying. American.
and
Heretic.
the soldiers open the blast sealed door, and Eric turns to the Ichthyo-sapien guys. He says, "Thank you for your help, gentlemen. You may as well come inside."
Please tell me that on the other side of the door is one of those like finely decorated Diogenes Club type things.
Diogenes.
You know, with like the fancy teacups and the nice upholstery.
Hello.
What?
Welcome to England. And Eric says, "Welcome to what remains of Britain." As you kind of led into the blast sealed doors. It's like a military base, basically. And he leads you into another kind of sealed room, whilst going through several more corridors and seeing several Englishmen around. Eric kind of leads you into this quiet room, and he thanks Master Dark Weaver for following. Welcome, Master Dark, to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Casually as he walks by.
Yeah, thank you, Master Dark Weaver.
He insists on being called that.
The Ichthyo-sapien men like stand on guard, kind of outside the door, and kind of like guard the kind of sealed room as you're inside. It's like the private chamber you had back in the British Secret Service headquarters. In that it's like one of the like sealed rooms, so no one else in here. There's just a table, and there is a telephone and a fax machine. And Eric says, "Right. As I was going to mention before, I'm not entirely certain that there aren't more cultists aboard Aquila."
What makes you say that?
Call me paranoid. But the UPH have a dogged interest in knowing more about this, and well, you're right. I knew that they would get their hands on you. I thought I could sneak you in, but someone must have told them that you were coming.
I'm very worried, Eric. They know everything. They know everything. They've tortured us. We've told them. What do we do?
He says they have complete control over the all of Aquilium. They control the military, the submarines, the eastern sector, even the Ichthyosapian are under their command. They keep them under control with these drugs, which they take daily. Which I'm not entirely sure is safe, but they seem to do their will. Well, I come to think of it, no one ordered the Ichthyosapians out there to come and help me. They just stopped along the way and told me that they were here to help. I never received a direct order, and they're under the UPH control.
So you were escorted here by the UPH, really? And you've let them in the embassy?
In theory, yes. But they're allowed in anyway. But these gentlemen outside seem to not be obeying UPH commands. I wonder, Cecily. These Ichthyosapian people are experiments. Gills, fish people. We know that the Dagonids are a race of humans and fish, correct?
Yes, mer people.
Do you think perhaps there's a possible connection that they wish to protect or defend you?
If I'm supposedly their mother,
Well,
are you suggesting we should put this into practice?
perhaps it would be worth...
Let me try something. Because perhaps it was the thoughts of panic I was experiencing earlier with the eels.
Right.
I have a feeling.
Okay.
So if I'm in danger or panicking, or fear of whatever takes over, are you suggesting they may perhaps pick up on that?
I'm not ruling it out.
How else would they know that I was in trouble?
Perhaps so. Maybe that is right. They can sense that you're in danger and come to your aid.
I'm not really sure how else to explain that. It sounds so silly.
I wonder how we could get this.
Am I there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how...
Oh shit! It's you. Fuck.
Sorry, I was in a line. I'm very curious on this medication, this pills that they have them ingest. How we could find that. And thank Brittany Brown for the follow. Thank you so much, Brittany Brown. Brittany
But yeah.
I think maybe if we look, we could try to find an answer to that question there, as well as try to find the medication. And maybe that could be, we could use this as a weapon. If we
Control
them, the Ichthyosapians.
To what purpose?
Part of me feels.
But if we have the medications or the pills, or if we know at least where the source is from, we could use it if we need to. Not saying we would need to immediately.
Although these people are highly suspected, I feel bad. Not the UPH, the Ichthyosapians. I feel bad knowing I don't feel comfortable controlling them.
Well, I can understand that, but if you are indeed their mother, perhaps you are the only chance for indeed humanity itself. Or if we wish to have any control, now listen. Here's something else. The UPH have copies of all of our files, and indeed have taken several files from all of the world leaders and corporations and hold them themselves.
Why would they do that?
Well, supposedly it's a security protocol to stop all of the nations from spying on one another or killing one another. We had some problems a few years back when we first got to Aquilion. But listen, if they hold all of the files, maybe there's something in there that we don't know from the rest of the world. We know that Russia has spies everywhere, and China indeed is a nation which is very strong and powerful. Perhaps they know something that simply England does not have access to it. And if
So it is the youth in Asia.
What?
Euthanasia.
Euthanasia. Like
My-
it's a joke about killing pets. Don't worry about it. Never mind.
Solus will kind
A
of
situation, sorry.
put his hand on Cecily's shoulder. He says, "Are you sure with the numbers of these things around, they all are on the same page? They all know of you?"
I
Is it
cannot
even
guarantee they're on
likely?
the same page, but if I'm their mother, they will all know.
Do you think that's true?
Yes. Surely you know who your mum is. Well, not all people do, but I mean,
But
maybe. I don't know. I don't believe they're all on the same page.
we know this.
Just like humans aren't.
We know the cult had brainwashed them all into believing that, but everyone
There may
on
be
the
some who are
planet-
willing to help us who do not believe that I'm their mother. You want to break free of this bizarre little tribe that they have going on. Maybe they're aware of the situation and want to help us live peacefully, perhaps, but why would they need a mother when
These
it's got
things
this
are
trouble?
these things are vile abominations, spawns of Satan.
They're my kids!
That's
You
my
and-
son you're talking about.
You and I both know the profane rituals that created them.
Yes, we do. Yes, I certainly do.
Oh, I know about some profane
Oh,
rituals.
I'm gonna tell you about an eldritch ritual that happened to me.
Cut to Liam poking your belly.
Boop, boop, boop.
Get over here. Get back here, you. Get back here.
I will find you. I will find you and I will poke your belly.
This are my baby.
Oh my god.
Overlay derped.
Got it.
No, it did for a second. We're good.
So Eric says, perhaps we should try this out. I could ask one of these fine gentlemen outside to step inside.
He'll also kind of step up to Eric. He says, "Ever since you mentioned about these creatures, I've been uneasy. We know that they're some sort of experiments kept docile by drugs, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
So wonder they haven't attempted to rise up and kill you all already."
Well, I've petitioned many times to get a change, but they are a ugly necessity.
I don't question their usefulness.
That's what I call my ex-wife.
I don't question their...
Ugly necessity.
Ugly necessity. Boom.
Nailed it.
I don't question their usefulness in your survival. I question their loyalty. What happens when one of them becomes immune to the drug or ceases
Well,
to be sedated?
My sources tell me that early experiments were a failure and led to hyperaggression in several male species. Specimens, rather.
Should we attempt it first with a female?
Perhaps it would be safer, yes. I'll ask one inside. Opens a kind of glass sealed door. Shotgun.
Shotgun.
Come inside, my lady.
Milady.
If you'd be so
The gun? Ah, yeah.
right.
Did it all hot like this? Fish people's like spitting out the gills or something.
Yeah. Their S's just are shot from their gills.
I've got lisps.
Yeah.
They're all fletches.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yes, Eric invites all these ladies inside. It's a I'll say she's she's English, I'll say. And her name is Jennifer. She's from England. It's important that she's in the English embassy.
Yeah.
She's different. So she's a lady in her 30s, wearing a kind of military outfit with a gun. She steps in. Hey, how can I help?
So
Eric says, well, he fills the awkward gap with well, you see, the thing is, Jennifer, we were just talking in here ourselves, and we just wanted to... Have you met Cecily, by the way?
Cecily's gonna hold her hand up. Pleased to meet you.
She kind of like, looks kind of nervous, like, holds her hand out, shakes. Hi.
So Cecily's gonna shake her hand really warmly. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
How are you liking it down here?
Oh, well, you know, fuck.
You know.
Fuck.
fuck it. Whatever.
Well, you know, things aren't exactly ideal, but I do what I can to help. Yeah. You are the well, you're the ones who were there, right? It's so it's an honor to meet you all.
Pleasure.
Can I be of help to you? We're glad we managed to get you out from the UPH.
No, she's got gills and shit. Is she just like a normal person outside of that?
Yeah. It's like a normal human, but with gills.
Is she wearing UPH uniform?
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, how come you helped us get away from those people, and you're wearing one of their uniforms? Please do not feel pressured to answer this question. I'm just curious.
It just seemed like the right thing to do. We all agreed.
You all agreed?
Yeah, we don't like the way they were treating you. We knew what was going on in there. It happens all the time.
Have you helped anyone else out of those cells?
No, but we will be doing that from now on, I'm sure.
Very well. Very well. How many of you are there?
Am I in trouble?
No, Jennifer. No, you're not in trouble.
How many of us are there? In total, there's 10,000 or so of us. I mean, they call us the guild people or Ichthyo whatevers, but we just see ourselves as normal people.
That's because you are.
Thanks.
Now, were you chosen? Did you volunteer?
I volunteered. Yeah. Most of us did, really. We figured there had to be something we could do. So a few years ago, we signed up.
They signed up to become an Ichthy person?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they chose to have the girls and stuff.
Seems that way. They weren't forced
Because they're
upon them.
experiments, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
then,
it's similar how you can, like, how you could sign up to like Oh, you get £1,000 if you sign up to these like new drug tests sort of stuff.
Oh, like cold
Yeah,
cab.
you'll sign a waiver saying that
Completely
if you
covered.
die, it's not their fault, but you get paid loads of money.
Yeah.
So what's this we hear about drugs and things like that?
They keep us on a strict diet of a few drugs to make sure that our health remains the same due to the changes in our anatomy, and we don't experience mood swings, hair loss, skin irritation, and all sorts, really. In
Diarrhea.
fact, the radiation which we've undergone means that we're very prone to cancers, so we also take medication for that.
And
Preventatives.
Preventatives, yep. And general well-being, vitamins. Our bodies need slightly different things from you guys.
and
It's like being
Fish oil, a lot of fish oil.
a lot of fish oil, a salad every day, omega-3.
Yeah.
How are you adapting to your gills?
You get used to it, you know?
I understand.
It's useful, and I feel useful. So,
now, more about these medications. Have any of your population gone without them for any length of time?
yeah. There were a few back in the day who didn't like the changes that they were undergoing, or went into depressions, stopped taking their medications. Things cleared up after a while once they brought out the new batch of drugs, but for the most part, those people ended up being taken away because they'd commit crimes, and the UPH were pretty strong on that.
And nothing more recent?
Recently, things have been fairly under control. Maybe the isolated incident, but I don't always hear much from the other domes.
There are more domes.
Oh yeah,
How many domes are there?
I think there's around 60.
And we are in one of them, and that is named Aquilian, yes?
Oh, the whole city is called Aquilian. This is just one of the domes. You've got England, Northern Ireland, some of Scotland here.
Underwater Epcot.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there chairs in this room?
Yeah.
I'm gonna. What kind of chairs? Like basic or like sweet office chairs?
Plus
Sweet,
upholstery.
what are they called? The
they're
leather
I mean,
ones.
it's Britain, so it's probably
Yeah.
they're basic bitch chairs here.
unfortunately. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna take one and I'm gonna hover the foot of the chair over Cecily's foot, and I'm gonna drop it on her, and then I'm gonna sit in the chair to her, Cecily, and then see how they react out of character. I guess also in character.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
You start like pushing it down into her. She's like, hey, stop that. And she kind of like goes,
I don't mean to do it like, yeah, and then like wait for them, but like
yeah.
I try to like do it subtly, and then like either sit in it or just like drop it from on high, and be like, oops, sorry, and like and make it clear that it's my fault, and clear that she is in enough pain to have some sort of reaction.
Okay, so she does pick up on it. She says, "Hey, you're pushing on her."
Yeah, I'm sorry. All right, sorry about that. I pick it up and I'm like, sorry about that.
She said, ow, it's okay, just be careful.
One more question.
And I start watching I guess the reaction of, and like I start studying Jennifer's like expressions and her communication, I guess, body language towards Cecily while Cecily is recovering from this probably bruise.
Sure.
Another question. You work for the UPH,
Correct.
right? Do you know anything about their leader, that Russian woman?
Oh, Xenia isn't really their leader. She's just one of the commanders.
Right. You know who is in charge?
Of this dome, Xena is in charge, but of the overall organization, I think it's like a committee or something.
Like a hive mind.
And have you any...
More like a board or committee than a hive mind, I'd say.
Have you any inclination about their intentions? What their plans
keep the
are?
safety of Aquilian above all else.
Beyond that, how do they? What do they want with us? What do they want with Cecily specifically?
With you? Well, I guess they wanted to learn what you know, right? That's
Aye.
what they interrogated you for? I'm guessing.
Yes, and we need to. By now that should be mostly fairly. Well, I don't want to say common. It should be information that almost anyone can speculate. But I need. What do they plan on doing with it? Are they planning on striking back at the surface?
Oh, I had no idea. I don't think so.
I feel quite like we're being a little harsh on Jennifer here. Should we get one of the chaps in, Eric?
Oh, yes, the chaps. And
One of the men.
He pulls up his assless chaps.
Here's a pair for all of you.
Jennifer says, do you want me to leave?
No, you can stay. You can stay. That's fine.
Okay. Eric brings in a gentleman named Jeff. He's a big black guy. Wearing a UPH uniform.
Gills.
Hey.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Yes, this is Jeff. Jeff, Cecily, I know who they are. And Eric says, excellent. Well, they've just got a few quick questions for you, Cecily. Go on.
Yes. Solus, what were you asking, Jennifer?
The UPH.
Yes.
Are they preparing for anything? Have they given any orders? Have they moved their troops, their forces, in any specific direction that would indicate what their plans are?
Even if I did know something like that, why would I tell someone like you that?
Clearly
You work for the UPH.
you were among the ones who took us from their prison.
Right. But doesn't mean I should be telling you classified information.
Well, unclassified.
Well, unclassified. Where did I see that?
What did I ask him?
Earlier.
I said it
yeah.
a few minutes ago.
I thought it was you. Yeah.
He says, well, why exactly? What secrets do they have that you think are worth keeping?
That's the
Solus.
same question. I'm not an idiot.
No, I'm saying why. Why do you think their secrets are worth keeping?
He says, they're my employers. And they keep the peace on Aquilian. As far as I can tell, all you've done is fuck up the world. No offense.
No offense taken.
Somehow I think it was not meant that way. Were you there, my friend?
He shakes his head.
Have you been briefed on what happened in those ruins?
I hear the same room as everyone else does.
Do you have any questions for us, Jeff? We're happy to answer them. You won't get in trouble.
He's softened somewhat towards Cecily, and he says, "No, it's sorry if I came across. Everyone's under a lot of stress."
I understand. That's fine. We're here to try and get to the bottom of what's going on, and I apologise if we caused you any
Am I in
injury.
any trouble?
Not at all. You're not in any trouble.
Okay,
Thank you for your help earlier. It was greatly appreciated.
you're welcome. Can I go?
Of course.
Thanks.
He has gills.
Here's goes. And he heads out. And Jennifer says, "I guess I should go too."
You may go, Jennifer. That's fine. Thank you for
Thanks.
answering your questions.
She heads out. Eric closes the door. Thoughts?
You're right, Eric.
Several, actually. It seems as if she didn't really react when I hurt you. So sorry about that.
It's fine.
It was just clearly for a test. But but on a more of a interaction level, they ask if they are in trouble a lot. Both Jennifer and Jeff both said, "Am I in trouble?" As if they were worried about something. And then also, they both asked permission to leave. There is definitely, they do see a sense of power within you, Cecily. I don't know if me stubbing your foot with the chair leg was enough to get a reaction out of them, but I did do some studies there. And socially, there is definitely some sort of, what's the word?
Conditioning.
Influence?
Yes.
Right. But are you
as a mother
sure?
figure.
Are you sure that's not simply because they are kept under very strict control to make sure they are?
I don't feel as if they were asking the room. I feel as if they were asking the mother. And it's very odd to ask the same questions. Am I in trouble?
It's like something a child would ask.
Aye. Mother, may I? Am I excused?
Am I in trouble, Mum?
Exactly. Can I keep him? I found a human outside. But no, that is what I found. I'm sorry I was quiet during that. I was doing a bit of studying there.
Appreciated.
That's what I do.
Yes.
They also. I want to turn to Eric. I say, I'm still confused. You managed to collect a squad of men and women.
They seem to collect
help
themselves and then collect me.
So they elected to liberate us from the UPH, but they
I
have
thought nothing of it at the time.
but they have no interest in divulging the organization's plans or movements. Makes no sense to me.
I doubt they know it.
Well, the man certainly knew something he was hiding. Someone would not refuse to tell you information he doesn't have.
Well, Eric did say earlier that there was displays of aggression in the men, which is why I requested a chap to come in.
That wasn't aggression, that was defense.
And passive aggression, yes. Defensiveness. Often found in teenagers when their parents confront them.
It doesn't add up.
What else can we do from here?
We need to find out what they intend to do with the information they interrogated out of us.
I see. Do you have a plan in mind?
I had in some of the people that brought us from from the sub seem to be somewhat sympathetic, non-aggressive, certainly not malicious. I'd like to talk to some of the members of the organization. We may need to. We may need to publicly take sides in this disagreement in order to find a way in.
I agree. There are certainly those within these domes that dislike yourselves, but there are proponents of yours as well, those who believe you to be, well, disciples of some sort and beacons of hope, perhaps. People will cling to anything that they can. I'm sure we could pull a few strings.
If we were to ally with the UPH, at least it might go a little way to convincing everyone that our intention is to help, not to harm.
Get on in the inside, you think? I also know, however, that the church are most interested in yourself, Silas, and would meeting with you.
There's still a church down here.
And the religion is stronger than it ever has been. In times of great pain and suffering, humanity turns to, well, above, I suppose.
I imagine they'll not like what I have to say, as I have seen many things that are not written in any scriptures.
Perhaps not. But they do wish to speak with you, and well, perhaps would even fund you.
Fine, I'll arrange it. I'll meet with their priests.
Very well. If we can get some kind of funding for this little group of ours, it would be excellent because, well, we don't quite have the capacities we once did a few years ago. And if we're going to do some of the things I can see us needing to do, we're going to need money.
Is money still useful down here?
Oh yes, you can buy pretty much anything down here, and loyalty is at the highest price.
But surely it must be a limited commodity.
It says everything is traded. Always has been and always will. You can buy anything you like from the traders in several of the domes.
He'll kind of turn his back to Eric, to the rest of the guys, and say, so, do we attempt to speak with the organization, or do we see what the rest of the talk is around this place?
Why don't we go to the church?
Aye,
That sounds good.
very well.
We should probably tread carefully.
I will remain here. Should you need me, you can find me. Good luck. Oh, and directions to the dome. I'm sure Jennifer would be happy to take you.
It's the only dome with a cross at the top.
Yeah, it's actually just a cross. It's not actually a dome. It is completely depressurized and collapsed inwards. But they didn't think about that before.
This will be perfect.
We'll build it 10,000 miles under the sea. God will protect us. So, like, so you step outside, and Jennifer and Jeff and some of the other ichthyosapiens are still there.
At the church?
Just outside. I mean, you don't know where the church is, so you need Jennifer to take you there.
Jennifer, where's church, please? I think Solace needs some time.
Oh, I can take you there.
Solace or Silas?
Silas,
Silas.
we've decided on that.
Okay, as a group.
Group hug.
I had no input in
I
it.
think we renamed him from Solus to Silas.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason we've started calling him Solus again.
Then salad.
And now he's insisting.
Salad.
And now it's salad, yeah.
Caesar. So
Caesar says.
Caesar salad says. So you start heading out with Jennifer. She says it's probably like a 20-minute walk, and starts leading you through these corridors. Anything you guys want to ask Jennifer or mention to Jennifer whilst you're walking on these halls here?
Who designed this place down here? Aquilian.
I'm not really. She's walking and she says, "I'm not really sure. It might have been the darkest one. 1, 2, 3. Welcome, the darkest one to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar." But she
That's
says,
appropriate. I was like, what?
Dagon designed this city.
darkest one designed. So he says, "We're not really sure. It's like some of that top secret. No one really knows. Everyone says Russia, Germany. No one really knows."
Germany.
Germany. It could have been any of them, or a group of them all put together.
Is there no governing body down here? No central?
UPH.
Did they did not construct this?
I have no idea. They don't claim to, so I guess they didn't.
Any idea when it was built? Just curious.
I mean, if you look at the architecture and the state of it, it could only have been built in the past 5 to 10 years, I'm guessing. I'm an engineer myself, and some of the stuff around here was just like what we had back at home on some underwater projects I worked on. So,
Is that about the time that Darkmere?
yeah, around that sort of time.
Okay.
All right.
I just keep that noted.
Sure.
Huh.
Something up? She says, something up? You look kind of...
I'm trying to think back on the files of Darkmere and all that, and just how and what got us here. That's all.
Oh, wait. What's Darkmere?
Very long story, Jennifer.
Okay.
Maybe one day we'll tell you.
I'm not entirely sure myself. I only know of what was reported.
And thanks to Wayward Sun for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Please come home.
Or just carry on.
Just carry on. It doesn't really matter to me. She says, I mean, we could probably do some digging. I'm like I say, I'm the engineer, and we've got like the blueprints of a place in my quarters around there. Although it is classified, I don't think we could get in there. And thank you to Ratch for donating £5, and he says, "It's been a while." What's up, Ratch? How's it going? How's it going, Pim? Good to see you, my friend. Listen,
Thank you.
what you would like to happen with Landanerino. You know the drill, my friend.
You know what's up.
You know that Ratch invented it. So she says, magic surge to myth. Okay, perfect.
Alrighty.
If you could look that one up and let me know what happened there.
Yep.
My table is actually up today.
That's what they always say.
Now,
It doesn't usually happen. It's never like this.
Now I'm sorry about it. It's not me.
It's not me. It doesn't usually do this. I'm so embarrassed.
Table doesn't usually do this. I'm sorry. Oh man,
Listen to all the drinking.
that takes me back.
Oh my god.
Man, that table will never be the same again.
No one currently wearing shoes nearby can use magic for 1 week.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
Who's wearing shoes?
Yeah. And who's magic?
Yeah, that's the question.
Well, the thing is, none of the
Is Dagon wearing shoes?
the ichthy dudes actually wear shoes because their feet are just too big.
That's true. We'll say that Jennifer can't. We'll say that Jennifer can't. Oh, okay. I'll tell you what, I'll do this one. So Jennifer, yeah, she doesn't really wear shoes. She has like webbed feet. So she.
Like seal flippers.
We're gonna read that one as she can't take her medication for 2 weeks.
Oh no.
Alright.
But we don't know that yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor Jennifer.
Nice.
Oh, Jennifer. So she says, like I say, we could. I mean, we wouldn't be allowed to get to the blueprints and stuff, but they do exist. So sheets are popped up.
Yeah.
She eats a Pop-Tart.
They still exist in 1923.
They were invented. Is this?
There's
I'm
something
like
good
imagining
supply.
Bioshock, kind of like.
It's a very Bioshock inspired.
Yeah.
So yeah, she continues onwards to the church, and you get to one of these blast sealed doors, a big cross above it of the Catholic Church. Of course, the Catholics survived. So those pesky Protestants didn't make it, but the Catholics made it, of course.
Pesky Protestants.
They're a bit more hardcore, really, aren't they?
The blast door is actually a giant cross that you spin.
Just swim it around. And beyond it, it's just a shroud. So you, the blast doors are opened by these two kind of, they're two soldiers, but they do wear crosses on them. And they bow deeply to Silas. They open the blast doors, and basically a cathedral is before you, but like a submarine cathedral.
Oh, cathedral, sorry.
Cthulhu is before you, again. Yeah, like a submarine kind of cathedral before you. There's candles and stuff in here, and there's chanting coming from somewhere. There are pews, and there is a kind of priest figure at the altar, I suppose. What's up, Sorfang? How's it going, man? Thanks for the host, dude. Appreciate that. If you guys just tuning in from Sorfang's channel, we are in an underwater city right now in Call of Cthulhu. and they're going to talk to the church about their feelings. So if you are just tuning in from Sorfang and you're new, you can hit that follow button. You can join us. We're here all the time. Sorfang's a great guy as well. By the way, Sorfang, you need to reply to my. Actually, did I message you? I don't know.
Yeah. Like that.
Like I might have done it. If I didn't message you, you should message me. Because I will forget. What's up, Volvo? How's it going, buddy? So, yes, you enter into this cathedral with this priest here, and they're kind of chanting, kind of comes to a bit of a lull as the priest kind of like puts his hands out. He's actually a young man. You'd expect this dude to be like maybe in his like 50s or 60s at least, but he's probably like 23, 24 kind of age. And thanks to Dark Player for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friend. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I'll shoot you a message, Joe. Don't worry, man. Take it easy, dude. Yes. So this young kind of chap, clean shaven, looks like Ewan McGregor from that one film in which he plays a priest, which is Angels and Demons.
Don't know it. Oh wait, no, that's the one about the Da Vinci Code sequel.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's the bad film sequel. To a bad
Angels
film.
and Demons. Yeah.
A bad film sequel to a bad film. It's just quite incredible, really, isn't it?
It's weird how you thought that would be better.
Yeah. What are we scholars in? I've always wondered. Well, wouldn't you like to know, good guy? Wouldn't you like to know?
You're not allowed to know.
That's why you're a scholar. You
That's
must
the only way.
You just do your head
Ways.
down, keep your head down, and do your research.
You keep stalling.
Keep scholarizing yourself. God damn it. So
Stalling.
yeah,
If you were a real scholar, you wouldn't have to ask.
yeah.
Yeah.
You need to
You
work
would have
harder.
studied it really hard.
Crack the whip. By the way, I think we're on 19 followers today, so if you guys haven't followed, we're about to have a viewer decision. We get
Oh
one
my
more.
god, it's so close I can smell it.
Yeah.
What does it smell like?
Yeah, you haven't been working hard enough
Nerds.
either, Brian. So
A lot of nerves.
I've got a.
keep scholarizing. So, yes, if you don't know what a viewer decision is, where you guys get to decide what happens next in our stories, you could throw in a Cthulhu monster, you could throw in just something that happens to the characters or a
Vader.
scene. Darth Vader could happen.
Daddy from Bioshock.
Pretty much anything you want, really. So, go ahead and follow if you haven't. And so, Ewan McGregor comes over, and Ewan McGregor.
Cecily faints.
Yes.
So do I.
Oh,
He's
sweet.
got that little like forehead dimple thing, which
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Classic Ewan.
Classic
so
Yui.
lovely.
Just call him Yui. So he steps over.
It's a U-turn.
He does.
A U-turn.
Hello there. And,
Sings Moulin Rouge. Pulls out a lightsaber. He does everything.
thank you to Zenpot for following. Welcome to the adventure, my friends. You're a gentleman and a scholar. The 20th of today, which means you guys are going to decide what happens next in our story. So, Flaming Killer, if you could keep this one on, buddy. So, underneath this line here in the chat, you guys throw out your ideas as to what could happen next. They've just met you, Ewan McGregor lookalike priest in the underwater city of Aquilion, where Cthulhu reigns supreme and there's Dagon creatures and anglerfish and all sorts of shit going on. So, what could happen next? Let us know. And thank you to Arrow1233 for following. You're also a gentleman and a scholar. We're going to do another viewer decision in 9 followers time. 9! And also 20 retweets on that Twitter as well. What's that crack again? Then sweet Sorfang follows. And thanks to Sneaky Cheese. You are one.
What a
Sneaky
name.
cheese. Is it like squeaky cheese? So that's like.
Thought you'd get by us. But you're there.
You thought you'd escape? Are all seeing. Alright,
Sneaky
That's
cheese.
sneaky cheese.
So, yes, so he comes over and he says, "Welcome, brothers and sisters."
Silas is just kind of looking around. Is the interior of this cathedral, with the apostrophe, is it like lavishly decorated, or is it just kind of plain?
Cathedral.
Yeah.
It's it is quite lavishly decorated, but it's all like apocalyptic decorations. So it's like signs of God smiting humanity, like humanity being weak in the face of the almighty power of God, the sins of mankind. It's all very revelation-y.
Okay.
It's Old Testament shit.
I will kind of walk through the aisles, just kind of looking, like passing by the people who are bowing and addressing us, just kind of looking up at the murals and stuff like that. And he'll say, "The signs have begun. The riders are coming. It is as the Apocrypha has predicted."
Indeed. My name is Gregor. You went for Gregor.
Silas.
Of House Ewan.
He extends a hand.
He'll just kind of, very awkwardly kind of take it, like he's not really big on shaking hands, but he just
Goes in for a hug.
No, he's just kind of still looking around. He says,
You are hugged.
Fist bumps.
no, the priest is okay. Yeah. So he'll just look around. He says, Have you read the words that speak of this coming?
We have read them, but we have no leader.
The council was wrong to claim that to call these texts apocryphal. They are just as true today.
Well, many people just think they're bad. Juju Doken, welcome, Juju Doken to the adventure. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Yeah,
that one was tenuous. I think.
Yeah.
There's Gareth!
Yeah, we're dead. Yeah, we died.
Gareth's serious drunk.
Yeah.
We're not dead.
We're in heaven now.
We're in the ninth world. We're underwater now.
Yeah.
We're in BioShock.
No.
With fish people.
So
Indeed.
Rapture.
We're rolling in the deep right now. Adele's here. It's great.
Dale's here is great.
She's just rolling.
is that just
Rolling,
that's just playing on the
rolling,
speakers
rolling.
constantly? So
Saying how much we could have had stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
so
At all, really.
okay, so the thing that kind of is weird about Silas right now is the Catholic Church, especially, very, very strong adherence to their Latin Bibles. They only read their scriptures in Latin, and they keep a very old and unedited version. Silas has at this point come to accept not just
He's made the edits. He's done his own.
No, not edits. He's come to accept not just the prophecies and the stories in some of the books there, but obviously a lot of occult stuff he's kind of in his head worked into the mythos. But there's specifically an entire set of books that were not actually included in the canon that were voted out when the Bible was created. Those are the apocryphal texts, and the Catholic Church especially considers those forbidden.
Correct.
Yeah, so Silas is like, he's all up in that kind of non-canon apocryphal stuff right now.
Yeah. He says, Miss Chadwick, may I call you Cecily?
Of course.
He hugs you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Gives you a charming smile. Moves over to Angus.
How did he know my name?
Mr. Callum,
Hello.
welcome to our house. He hugs you.
I hug him back.
One of those one-armed awkward ones, like,
Yeah. We are truly blessed to have you all here today. How can I be of service to you?
Callum reeks of booze, by the way.
Yeah. He gives you that, oh, you're homeless kind of look.
We've all.
oh, you're homeless.
Silas?
He'll kind of walk up to the he'll walk up to the altar and stuff, I guess where they keep all their expensive relics and, you know,
Sure.
iconography and stuff.
The bones of saints and the like.
No, just their golden like staffs and the things that they use. I don't know much about Catholic rituals.
Yeah, they have bones of saints and stuff.
Sure.
They don't like necessarily use them, but they're like
Catholic rituals, did you say?
Yeah, that's what they are.
I'm sure if a Catholic heard you say rituals, they would have something to say about that.
It's something you do over and over. It's a ritual.
Or a habit.
That's what the nuns wear.
Catholic habits. Those are what the nuns have.
Yes, that's what I said. The nuns have those.
Habits.
The priests have rituals.
Bad habit.
He'll just kind of walk up and he'll like, oh man. I guess because there's probably a lot of iconography of angels and saints and stuff. Could he maybe make like either an occult check or a religion check? I don't know if that's a thing, but basically he's just gonna start drawing in some of the occultic symbols that he like the ancient symbols that he thinks make sense of all this. They may not. They may just be complete gibberish, but they kind of fit in the spaces that he thinks.
Okay, you roll me an occult check.
Occult check. My occult is shit, so I'm going to fail this, but I'm interested in seeing what happens.
Thank you to the Enema Wizard for following. Welcome.
The Enema Wizard. Oh my god.
And the Scholar. Best name today.
Gentenema.
That is a good one.
So I rolled a 3 under a 5.
I wonder what an Enema Warlock looks like. You rolled a what, sorry?
I rolled a
Blood magic.
3 under a 5.
Nice.
I don't know how that happened.
Impressive.
You rolled a 3?
Under a 5. Yeah.
Ah, good for you.
Yeah. So, you start drawing him into like the appropriate like occult symbols, and Gregor kind of calls out, "Brother, what are you doing?"
He says, "There are things in this world that you have not seen. There are blank spaces to be filled in, and ancient knowledge that connects us with the Lord's will."
I see. Where is this all going, young man?
He just kind of shakes his head and continues drawing like lines again across like some of the angels, like just symbols between them or between like their arms. It's real fucking Da Vinci Code shit. But in his head, like again, in his head, he's sort of been weaving this tapestry of prophecy and occult mythology and stuff that probably is completely wrong and makes no sense. But he's just kind of using the carvings and stuff and the gold statues and this and that to kind of as kind of a map. He says, "I have seen things in the deep places that shake the foundations of everything we hold to be true.
You must hold your faith, brother." And he kind of whispers to Cecily, "Is he quite all right?"
Yes, he's just got some things to figure out, I think. I
Right.
believe he's questioning either his own faith or something he believes he's found.
He'll kind of raise his voice as he's now drawing something.
And thank you so much to Tech Me, who has just subscribed. Thank you so much, Tech. You are the most gentlemanly of scholars. I salute you. And enjoy all those emotes, enjoy all that good shit, that stuff. The badge, all the things you don't really need, but you really want. You've been good. Trying to get nice shit so I can watch more streams, just more like that. That's awesome. Love the sound of that. Thanks so much for subscribing and supporting the channel. We love you. That little news from God. A warm embrace.
Yep.
So as they're saying this, he'll kind of raise his voice and he'll say, "I have not lost my faith in the Lord. I have seen His will more clearly than ever." And can he just like as he goes to the top of the main altar, he'll just draw this sort of triangle symbol with the circle in it, like the kind of the one that the cult was using. Is it possible? And I'm asking you because you can shoot this. Is it possible that like that symbol just kind of fits really well with the imagery that's on the altar?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, it's the one that both Angus and Cecily have carved into them.
Yeah, the triangle symbol.
Yeah, the circle, the triangle, inside of it fits almost perfectly. It connects to kind of 3 dots, as it were, in between like the center of this tapestry, kind of leading you strongly to believe that this might have been prophesized in the ancient texts, which are not in the current version of the Bible.
He'll just kind of turn, like as he finishes, he'll just look up at it and kind of step back. He says, "There's always a connection. Everything has been ordained."
Gregor looks at this. What is that, and what does it mean?
Cecily's gonna hold a hand up.
Yes.
It is the symbol.
Oh, I thought you had a question.
No,
No, she's showing you
the symbol on her hand.
Oh yeah, I have it too.
Oh, me too. Same club.
We're like, woo! High five!
I don't have one.
Ow.
I need to carve myself one because I don't have one. He'll just say, "This is the symbol of Dagon. It's the symbol that we discovered in the ruins."
That's what I discovered in Darkmere.
So what you're saying is that all of this was somehow prophesied before, and this is God's will?
The Lord's will is always done. I believe that this is His doing. That He, when the world was dark, put all these events into motion.
I see, but what can we do about it? How does this... Oh, I'm not sure how I can help you.
What resources do you have in this place?
Well, we don't have much military, but we have money. The church has a lot of funding.
I believe our move should be seeing that whatever this is, I believe it is not meant to end the world. God may be sending the devil and his sons to destroy us, but my readings, my puzzlings over the last months have led me to believe that the devil cannot be more powerful than the Lord. This is a test for us that we must prove ourselves worthy.
I think I'll need to talk to the elders about this as well before we make any rash moves. But thank you for coming in and speaking with us.
Who are your elders, and what is their agenda?
The will of the church and the spreading of our Lord's work.
He kind of points to the tapestry. He says, "There is work to be done now. There is no time for
yes,
politics."
I can see that. I can't make any decisions on my own.
He kind of turns to the other two. He says, I think I need to convince them. I need to stay here and convince these people of what lies before them.
What do you guys say?
I was answering a question. Sorry. What?
It's a difficult thing to do, to convince someone who is otherwise. You can't force someone to believe.
No, they simply need their eyes opened to the truth. That we all know there are things that lurk below the surface. Things that are not known. But I think those things fill in pieces of a puzzle. And we've been hunting for a very long time. You all have your business. You have to find out how we can save our own reputations, save the people here. Obviously, we need the backing of anyone we can. If there are elders in this church, they need to be shown. Their eyes need to be open to.
I honestly don't care about my reputation or about the people down here. I care about the world. I care about what has been done and what we can do to undo it. And if that involves this church, or if that involves finding any sort of crack inside this impenetrable wall of information we have, so be it. You think this church could help us?
I think we have very few allies in this fight. We need to make more.
I agree. What of you, Cecily?
I agree. I mean, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Especially the UPH. Keep an eye on them.
The Gregor says, what is your relationship like with the UPH?
We don't have a relationship with them right now. As far as we know, they took us, they interrogated us, and they let us free.
I would say a little more than interrogation, really. Rather aggressive interrogation.
It was borderline torture. Come on.
I would say it was torture.
Yes.
That's all we know. They know what we told them, but that was not willing. It was forced upon them.
I see.
Zina girl. Do you know of her?
Ah, the Russian lady.
Yes.
Yeah, she... Several times I've attempted to convert her, but she has not seen the light yet.
And what does she see? What light is her light?
I'm not quite sure I know how to answer that question. Are you suggesting she has some other god?
Well, I'm not sure at this point. We've seen a lot of different occult things, and we're unsure of who allies with who, what beliefs are the true one, if there is a true belief, of course. No offense, but it's merely a question of where does one see her light? Where is her hope? Where is her intentions? I'm not sure you know. These are just questions.
I can try my best to learn what I can from her. Next we speak, I could arrange a meeting.
Very well.
Whatever I can do to help. Like I say, I need to speak with the elders first, however. And as he says that, the kind of blast doors open, and a bunch of the guild people walk into the room. and they are armed. Although so are you, or so are some people around the church as well. It's not a kind of uncommon thing. And maybe 5 of them come in. At this point, you hear this. The room begins to kind of shudder, as if it's withstanding like enormous pressure. But you kind of hear like a foghorn kind of sound, like a deep in the sea somewhere, which resonates with Angus and Silas as a very similar sound to the one which they heard a few years ago in the Bay of the Congo when they were escaping a storm and they saw some giant creature in the waters which was chasing them. And it would appear to be a very similar kind of foghorn-like sound. And immediately that kind of makes kind of flashback to that second for you guys. And Gregor was like, what is that? As the Ichthyo sapiens come in and immediately start rushing towards Cecily. Jennifer's amongst them. She says, "We need to gauge safety. It's not safe." You're muted, Lee?
Yeah, I have like 2 mute buttons.
It's okay.
But why are you taking us?
She says, "We need to get to a submarine. It's not safe."
What's happening?
Something's...
That noise is not good. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
The noise sounded like the sea leviathan that carried us to the island?
No, it sounded like the creature which was chasing you. This giant thing. You didn't really get a good look at it.
So a sea leviathan, just not the one that took us to the island.
No, that was a kraken.
Yeah,
That was more Kraken.
yeah. So leviathan kraken.
I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, okay, but
A leviathan is a giant whale.
Was it really? It was
Yeah, like a big, massive, giant.
mythic. It was a
freaking
mythological creature.
A monstro, if you will.
He'll kind of turn to the priest and he'll say, "Whatever happens," and he kind of points to the tapestry. He says, "Everything is linked in some way."
Right. Yes. And he's like kind of worrying about like chandeliers falling over and stuff like this to the sound of it. It's all linked, it is. You're like holding something up. And the Ethiopians are like, "We need to get Cecily out."
Yes, let's go. Come on.
As I try to like hustle Cecily out.
Come on. Hurry. Why aren't you running? Come on.
I'm running. Stop it! Stop it! I'm running.
Faster.
I'm just gonna like slap his hand playfully. Stop it! No.
Jennifer and her escort start leading you out. And she stops as a corridor, and all of this is kind of like rumbling. The place seems to be kind of very few like moments. There's another kind of foghorn sound, and there is as a moment where kind of Jennifer turns back to you, and she says, "The submarine's on the eastern wing, but Eric's in the western."
Shit. Right, well, could he... should we meet him or should we go get him?
We should go get Eric. We can't do this without him.
Very well. Hey,
This is where Cecily kills the party. Oh God.
If we take Eric with us,
you head towards the submarine. I'll get Eric.
fine. And he kind of pushes Cecily, but he says, "Remember, if you can't get him, we need someone here as an ally."
Right.
Alright, so Silas and Cecily start running off one direction towards the east and the submarines, and Angus starts going towards the west.
Yes, you're right.
He's singing his own theme song.
I mean, that's not the James Bond theme tune.
I know, but
No, it's Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat.
So
I'm gonna
suddenly, like Scully and Aston Martin, and like
Not James Bond, Will. It's my own character, I promise.
It's an OC.
the hot blonde and Aston Martin DB9 show up with a cigar for Angus here. Quick. Yes, you start kind of running down the corridor. As you're running, there's a squadron of UPH coming your way, kind of down this like narrow corridor. One of them shouts, "Stop right there!" Probably like 200 feet away from you.
To me?
Yeah.
No time, shorty. And I try to, dare I say, do a swim move and try to move between them.
Ooh. The old
Nice.
The old juke.
The old jukeroo.
The old salmon fins.
Oh, the old. Never mind, I almost said that. Anyway.
Okay, you should make a roll for this.
Juking? Alright.
Yeah, the old juke move. Let's see. What's one of your core statistics that work? Like the equivalent of dexterity. I'm not on the roll 20 right now.
Dex.
Dex.
Yeah.
That would seem like the one.
I rolled a 66 out of 40. That doesn't make sense. They're all strength.
No? Did you?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why did that? Oh, okay, yep. Here we go. Worse. 74 out of 50.
Yeah, you kind of start getting through. You kind of go to juke them, and one of them just kind of like butts you back. There's this area is off limits.
I have a friend over there. I must get him. You don't understand.
So everyone's got a friend there. Come on, let's get you back. We'll be fine.
I'm not taking no for an answer.
And I tried to juke him again. Okay, this time. I'm gonna. Do I? Hold on. I'm gonna try to persuade them.
We really need him. He's gonna be he's our guide here. He's the one to get on the boat. We can't drive the boat without him.
You know the old Gollum excuse. He's our guide. So
Give me the old Gollum.
give me.
I nailed it with a 93 out of 40.
Yeah. So they just kind of like push you back, like no one's getting through. Okay. Worry about your friend. Like as he pushes you back, however, his pistol in his holster is kind of like open towards you if you wanted to grab it.
Okay. Well, all right.
With a pistol in your
I think I
holster.
had one, but yeah, I will take it. I will take his because it's cooler. Will I succeed? Probably not.
But will I give it a go? Yes, I will.
Do you want fighting brawl, or do you want me to do another dex thing?
Yeah, you can just grab it.
I'm gonna just grab it. Thank God.
Come on, you got this.
So you just like nab his pistol while he pushes you back. What do you do with it?
I point it at them, and then I say, "Back away and let me through."
All of them have their like guns like pointed back to you, other than the one guy who's like standing here. And he's like, "Oh, let him go, let him go."
And then all of them are pointing their guns. Let him go. All right.
Okay.
How do they react?
Because you got like gun like straight to his face, so he's there like captain. So he's like, "Let him by."
All right, sweet. And then I kind of walk right behind them, but still with the gun in his face the whole time as I go around, and then I sprint away.
Okay, cool. So Cecily and Silas, you're heading back with Jennifer and the folks towards the submarine kind of quarters, harbor, as it were. And you're kind of heading past a bunch of UPH people. And I'll really give you a second look, and you come out into the submarine bay, where you see that all of the submarines are kind of look like they're being manned by soldiers who are going out in them. The kind of gates are rising so they can go out. What are you guys doing?
Waiting for Angus.
So you're just kind of waiting for him to come back.
Yeah, I guess we'll kind
Observing the
of
docks, yeah.
we'll kind of push everyone else onto the submarine, and then we'll just sort of stand out like at the hatch, just kind of waiting for him to come through the door.
Sure.
But I'm assuming the time is ticking by, and we're getting more and more nervous.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been, a minute or two, then 3 minutes. And then all the time is more like, and more like military action around, and then you hear somewhere something huge has just been crunched. As there's kind of like a sound of like screeching metal, which you can hear even through the blast doors and through the water. Something is just like collapsed into something.
Shit. What was that?
It is the Leviathan, the great beast of the end times.
The Leviathan. I've read about him. Oh my gosh.
It can only be, as the scripture foretold. We need to get away now.
We can't leave.
Jennifer says, they're all leaving. There's only a few left.
He'll kind of
We can't go without Eric and Angus.
kind of says he kind of looks around quickly and then looks down into the hatch. He says, "Start the ship."
She says, we're gonna have to take it by force.
Fine, we need to go. There's no time to wait. This place will be...
And she starts kind of ordering them around, and immediately there's like a gunfight with like several of the kind of UPH guys who are manning a submarine. They kind of dive inside, they shoot them, they clear it out for you. There are 5 corpses of UPN submariners inside as they kind of help you in. We've got to go.
Where's Angus?
And immediately Jennifer's like ordering like the people around to get ready to go.
He says, "There's no more time to wait. He'll have to make his way out. He'll have to find a way out on his own."
So she nods. They close the sealed kind of hatch. We cut back to Angus. You're kind of running towards Eric, and you get to his like through the British Embassy kind of gates where everyone's like going kind of crazy, and into Eric's quarters. And Eric kind of bursts open the door just as you're coming towards it. What's the situation?
I kind of want to pick him up. I want to grab his arm and firemen carry him.
Come on, let's go.
And try to bring him back.
Sure. Just as you grab Eric, you're starting running down the corridors back towards the western side, the eastern side where the submarines are. You run all the way back through past people screaming and running everywhere and walking until you get out to the submarines and you see the last submarine is just leaving the bay, and then the gates just go behind, and you're left alone in the darkness for a moment. There's still chaos going on, and then suddenly the gates begin to like just kind of tear themselves open again. It looks like kind of yawning and kind of groaning, like the normal way they do it. You see these tiny little hands kind of like pulling them up, and like kind of like fish-like claws almost. And you see a light coming from it, lots and lots of lights, and they kind of just like push open the gates just enough for a bunch of them to rush through, as dozens of these Dagonid creatures with these anglerfish kind of bulbs lighting on just begin to rush towards you and Eric. And that is where we will end this episode of Call of Cthulhu and Ancient Evil with the Murloc Cross. That's a little cliffhanger there for next episode.
Awesome.
So that's what we're wrapping up for this one, guys. However, we would normally finish it last time, but instead of doing that, we're going for another 3 hours. We're playing a game called I Love the Core, which is going to be sci-fi action, adventure, horror stuff going on aboard a ship, which is going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. But let's go around and do some hooks and plugs for our guests. And if you did enjoy the show, you can hit the follow button and join us for some more action in a little bit. So let's go to Cord first of all.
Hello, my name is Mythomatic. It was a wonderful time today. Had a great stream. A lot of fun. Thank you. Really. My name is Mythomatic. I stream here on twitch.tv /Mythomatic. Come check me out. I am a all-time role player. I role play in video games. I role play at the tabletop. I love playing make-believe. So come along, hang out, listen to the voices I do, and watch the cool story that happens. That's all I got.
Awesome. Lee, you do things on the internet.
I do, yes. I am Ginger Snapper on Twitter, and I do a lot of drawing and making things and being a general nuisance. So yeah, come and say hi.
Awesome. You can drop a link to that, and finally, Askren.
I echo Myth sentiment. Was a lot of fun. Definitely some character building, and next week is the big one.
Yeah, next week is a big one.
The big one.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, no, definitely looking forward to that. For those of you who don't know, my name is Askren. I am the host and the dungeon master of the Twitch TV channel called Exploding Dice. You can just hit me up in chat. It's just Twitch TV/Exploding Dice, where we play live D&D every Sunday, and I also have an awesome talk show on Tuesdays where I bring on guests of all types. It's called Fuzzy Dice, and it's a lot of fun. And I also do a lot of streaming on this channel and on others. You can see me this week hanging out with Unmade Gaming on their stream, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, I have a giveaway because we just hit 1,000 followers. So if you want to get a chance to play a one-shot that I am running, you should definitely check us out on Twitter. It's just twitter.com/Askren. You can enter that giveaway and win a game.
Whoop, whoop.
Awesome. Well, the stream's going to go down for a second, guys, and we're coming right back up again. So fear not. We will go down for 2 seconds, and we'll be back up again with I Love the Core, myself, Mike, Tall Squall, Sydney, and Critic Chris will be joining us for a fun action-packed game. So don't go anywhere. We'll be hanging out still for another 3 hours. We'll go down for a few seconds. We'll be right back up. And until then, guys, we'll see you in about a few moments. But until that time, whilst we'll be alone in the world without your will, try not to draw too many net ones because we're going to be here laughing. When you do, we'll see you guys soon. Very, very soon indeed. See you in a moment, in fact.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.